All right, 7:06, the meeting is called to order. If everybody please stand, join us with pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, first order is public hearing amending the code of ordinances of the city of Cambridge, Iowa by amending provisions pertaining to water service charges. We'll open the floor to public comment. Are there any public comments?
I have a question on that. So you're just raising the late fee charge for the water bill, is that correct with that ordinance? And we're not changing from the 15th to the 20th for due date on that one?
Nope. Are there any other? Public comment closed.
What is the service charge? Or will be raised to?
I thought we decided on 20,
Okay.
and that last
I-
meeting was 20.
Okay.
Entertaining.
Move to close the period of public
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
hearing. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Next, approval of the agenda and minutes of the previous meeting.
I just had one thing on the minutes. We put Daryl's last name in there. I don't know if the Jeep guy that was here.
I
last-
didn't, it wasn't Daryl, that was
Larry?
the guy that was representing.
That was
us.
Larry
Larry, and I didn't know what his last name is.
Reindler or Ryan.
Oh, okay.
He never said, I looked back on the,
Minutes.
then viewed the video and he just
Oh,
said his name was Larry and he was here to represent.
Okay. Okay.
Move to approve the agenda minutes from previous meeting.
Second.
All in favor for the approval of the minutes and agenda from the previous meeting, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Moving on, comments from the audience. Floor is open.
Dana Cole and I live over on the south side of town over here. Question about how is the attorney and them coming with property lines? Heard anything? Can we kind of get some feedback from you? Let me know on that.
Absolutely.
Right. Second of all, have questions about the excessive amount of dust coming from the co-op over there, especially with their outside dump that they have. And if there's anything the city could do, because, I mean, according to the guidelines, anything in an industrial area, the dust is supposed to stay on their property. And I mean, when they're using that outside dump, it doesn't matter, they're dumping trucks or tractors, and you can visibly see it leaving the property from the house.
Mhm.
And of course, you can also then visibly see it on the car. Because it's not just, I mean, it's not just that part, but when they turn the fans on, which they haven't run a lot, there's a lot of dust comes out of the top of those vents. There's a lot of dust sitting on the top of the vents. So it's not. Been in contact multiple times with the DNR. DNR's been over there. I'm not sure how that is all going, but I think maybe that the city needs to step up and maybe send them a letter and say, hey, guys, you need to manage this a little bit better. Because you can walk down trail down there anytime and looking in there and see corn chaff everywhere, or even the guys from Precision Underground, when they were driving in their parking lot there, they're kicking more dust up than normal, and it's just from the dust from the co-op.
Right. And that's one of the items we have with our attorney that we sent with them to look into that. We're just waiting. I mean, I can call them. It's gonna be a $50 call for 2
Right,
minutes
I-
to tell us that,
right, I
hey, they're not there
understand
yet.
I just, my big thing is, it's been over a year with my property line thing,
Yeah,
and I'm just trying to figure out, can they give you a say, hey, the next 3 months or 4 months? I'm sure it's not just me, because there was others, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken, that were involved in on that.
right. But you're aware of the administration change that we went through
Oh, yeah.
halfway through the year, so
Yes.
we're working on it. Be nice by the first of the year, have that all ironed out.
Yeah. All right, that's all I have.
Good, thanks.
I just want to second that, what he said about corn dust.
Absolutely.
I've been taking pictures and stuff of stuff that's got corn dust on it, seeing it fly. Be nice to find somebody to help me.
Is there any other?
Yeah, he's down in new business. I know.
It's okay.
It's new business.
Keep going.
So is there any other further comment from the public? All right. Moving on, approval of the list and claims and receipts.
And I just want to share, I just had some that came in yesterday, fire department. So there'll be a couple that will be added. There were some repairs to the fire trucks. There's 2 different ones. One's for $35, one's for $645. And then also they have a Feld fire. I'm not sure what all they did. Dale, do you know what all Feld fire did? It's another $800 fee.
How many, there should only be one. Was there one for Phil?
Yeah, one for Feld that Zach brought up. He's had it for a while.
Oh, that's the air compressor.
Air compressor. So that one's for 800. So those 2 will be added. And I didn't hear back from Barb. Did you find out if this is the actual website invoice?
No, that's not.
It's not the website invoice,
So
so,
we have GoDaddy, and that's just somebody trying to list our website.
okay, so then I can disregard
We can
this,
just
so I didn't
throw it
put it on
away.
claims. Wonderful. Thank you.
I make a motion to approve. Second.
Approval of the list and claims and receipts. Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Monthly reports, treasurer's report. Budget balance report.
Treasurer's report. We worked on it today. We're off 604.94, so I have to find that error. But other than that, the figures that are on there.
So when you find that, will you let us know that it got justified?
Yeah, when I find it, this will be amended and the actual copy then gets filed with our reports.
Barb, we do this well, right?
Pardon?
Has there ever been I mean,
No, no, I haven't seen one that.
Oh, but when you find it, that just send you a copy of the,
well, I'm.
it's
I
just
know
an
that you're
error in
doing
my
things-
edition
Yeah,
is what it is
Yeah.
somewhere.
I just know you're being thorough, but we've never had anybody tell us that we're off. I'm sure they've been off before. We just didn't know about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It'll be interesting. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Find your $604 though.
I will.
Is that G Works? Is that the,
That's the software program.
renewal fee?
Yeah, that's the annual fee. Yep. And that will probably go up if we add more portals to it.
Is there any discussion on the monthly reports?
No,
Good questions.
Basically. Cityscape magazine. I don't know if Dale, you wanted to share something with this with a little bit of the correspondence, the Regional Utilities Association. Wastewater, that there's gonna be a increase of 4% just for the rural water, which doesn't affect us unless we actually ever have to use it in an emergency situation. Isn't that how that's set up?
Right, yeah.
That there will be a 4% increase to what their fee normally was if we ever would have to use them. That they're finding they're eating some costs, so. Wasn't any other correspondence.
Moving on, reports from standing committee. Water. You good?
I think we're good.
We're all good? See what else we got? Wastewater, drinking water treatment, financial assistant program.
That was that,
it was due October 8th, but I talked to Mid-Iowa Planning Alliance, and we kind of had to have a plan in place. Like if we're buying the filter, we need to know what it is, and that's, and they said we're gonna apply for it next year, $500,000. So get everything in line and get ready to apply for it, because we will need to replace that.
Is it holding up? Is it holding up? Moving on to the sewer solid waste, baffle curtain repair, replacement. Did we ever get anything? No.
You suggested
I brought up the thing that I wanted to show if you guys are aware of what's going on out there. There's like 4 different bathroom curtains,
Okay.
and one of them is pretty damaged, I would say, and probably needs to be replaced.
Okay.
Cost to replace it is approximately gonna be about $30,000. We'd be going back with a more heavy-duty curtain and anchor down the ends better, so hopefully this wouldn't have to do with that one, and also kind of give you a way to kind of try this new style out, and if it works, and the other ones keep having this issue where they keep getting blown up on the wind, we might have a better alternative than have to replace those.
How many baffles do we have out there?
There's 4.
For
They're all this material that the one that's ruined is made of,
Yeah, yep.
and the one that got ruined in the derecho or in a high wind event.
And there was no insurance covering that.
I think it was in December.
Insurance
They would
cover,
do
would
10
only
grand.
cover like 10,000 of it is the cost that insurance will cover, but they won't cover all of it.
It might be good to get, I think she said because it wasn't specifically listed on your policy, that's why it would cover it all, so it might be good to get those added. So if there is, you know, that comes next year or whatever.
So we're kind of looking at two things here, one fixing so that our insurance covers the full cost of the curtains in the future. And then put this heavy duty mother in there as a replacement. To see if it holds up as well as they say it does. So we can replace the other 3 with this one remains.
If they ever do get damaged.
So they're that durable, it's an if proposition, I mean, they can last a lot longer than this one did.
Yeah, so the one you had in there before, we put in like 2000-ish. And they're expected to last about 10 years.
Okay.
And it's kind of deteriorate. That
Okay.
one lasted close to 20 years.
Okay.
The wind took it up. It's very rare that you hear about the wind picking these things up. And I think that your news was kind of oriented perfectly with the curtains going north-south and the wind kind of cutting down through there in the west, and it's more prone to that problem, so.
Is there any way we could put like a wind, like trees or anything?
Windbreak.
You can't do trees on the berms.
Oh,
Potentially
okay.
look at putting up like a fence, but that would be pretty expensive too,
Okay.
so,
I didn't know if that was an option to help.
yeah, talked about that.
What do you need from us?
Just discussion, just.
Where we're at.
Probably just for me, some directions so that I can try to line up some quotes for you guys, get the old one taken out and new one put in. If you want to go with just the one replacement. Which to me, that's what makes no sense, but if you want to do more than that, you certainly could.
You get a discount if you buy 4.
You probably will get a little bit of discount, you know, the labor to do one is gonna be a lot more expensive than the labor.
Is this like a springtime, something you change in the spring then?
It depends on who we get, they did the last one over the winter, so.
It was really, it wasn't frozen by any means.
Right, they couldn't do it if it was frozen, but up until the point that the lagoons freeze over. you know. But it's gonna probably take some time to get it ordered and get it made and get it over here, so I'm guessing it's probably will be spring. I think.
With the dry conditions over the last 2 seasons, does that expose those baffle curtains more to the
We
elements?
haven't maintained the same, pretty much the same.
Yeah,
level.
water vessels.
Okay. I figured as much, but. So we're gonna figure out if insurance can be expanded to cover the cost of those, and we're just gonna replace the one. What do you need from us to come out and do a quote, a bid, or whatever it is you said?
I've got a couple contractors who do this kind of thing pretty regularly. I'm just gonna get a couple quotes on who work and then bring it back to the council. You guys can decide what to do.
You know, when we'll bring those back.
I would think it'd be next month.
Okay,
Yeah, because I mean, I think we should be back here anyway, hopefully next month with some more things to talk about on the storm sewer project.
So that's the plan, get a couple bids.
Yeah, yep.
Are we gonna utilize the insurance for part? Because I know she's gonna be calling and asking, so.
Yeah,
You
well,
might tell her that we're gonna end up at some point turning this in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, just so we can keep her updated, so.
they're gonna have to be replaced.
Right, yeah, so we might as well use. what we can.
Any other questions? Steve, you're gonna talk here in a little bit. Again, right?
Yeah.
Storm sewer.
Yep.
All right, moving on to roads.
A couple things. I'd like to take the new truck up and get a plow mount and get a wire for the new plow. That way if the truck went down, we could actually hook this up to either plow. So, and I'd like to go and get the mount on the wire.
Did you have a quote on that?
I was right at $2,000, but it may be a little bit one way or the other. So. And the other thing is Dave informed me today that he'll be leaving the middle of next month. So, but he's gonna stick with me through the snow and stuff, so he's not gonna leave me hanging, so, yeah. So he says
Leave.
it's time to retire. So,
Like leave it on a permanent basis.
yeah, but if we need him, he'll still be available.
Just be a sub.
So,
He wants to
No,
enjoy,
that's
he wants to enjoy
You told him
retirement.
that's not allowed.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So is everybody in agreement with Dale getting the plow mount for the truck,
Yeah, I
getting
think
it
that's
set
a
up?
good idea.
We're talking about that tomorrow.
Yeah, sounds good.
Is there any further discussion for roads? And we have the new plow. We have the new plow
new plows here, yes.
on the truck.
Yep.
It's very nice. So what are we gonna do with the old
Plow
one?
one on the flatbed?
Yeah.
Say what now?
The new plow one on the flatbed?
On the 450, the bigger truck.
The new plow went on the 450.
That makes no sense to me. I don't know what the 450 is. That the one with the flatbed?
Yes.
No,
No,
That's flatbed.
it's,
it's on the big truck.
it's the dump truck, if you will. The one that had the dump body.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Do you want to discuss what to do with the old blade?
Uh,
Do you want to put that out for bid? Do you
we
want
have
to keep
to
it?
take bids on it, whatever, so we'll probably just post it on Facebook, I guess, or on the website, whatever. See if you get any bites on it.
We did, for the charger, when we got rid of that, so we put it on an auction site, government auction site.
Yeah, they gotta stay.
And we got quite a bit of money for it, a lot more than the dealer gave us for the car.
Do you get to put a reserve on there? If you put it on there on the auction site?
I can't remember, it's been a while since we did that. But I think the dealer was gonna give us a couple grand for it, we ended up getting like 9,000 for that charger.
Yeah.
So-
Was that on that government site that,
Yeah, it's a guy, I'll ask.
I
City
remember when
Hall.
that happened.
You can ask Jolene, Jolene be able to tell you, I'm pretty sure, but yeah.
All right. Any further discussion with roads? Moving on to cemetery, park and library.
Got a fair bit here, so bear with me. Got a headstone down in the cemetery.
I've contacted the monument company, at some point they're gonna reset that.
Okay. Do we have a set of steps that we take when we have to restore or repair a? Is it just usually the same people? So you know, you're on it like Bluebonnet. Never mind. As far as parks go, developed a list of potential projects in the upcoming weeks. I'm gonna be working with our new Parks and Cemetery Board, to whom I've got two new assignees, John Camp and Connie
Sefkis.
Kiss. Yep. And William, who the heck is William?
William was here last time in the back.
Well, I wasn't
Orchard.
here.
Oh, you were gone.
No. Does William have a last name?
Orchard.
Orchard?
Borchard. Borchard.
Orchard. All right, I'll give that cat a call. Tentatively, our meeting Thursday, December 8th, location and time for that meeting to be determined. Sounds like I'm gonna add to that meeting tonight. Thanks, guys. But we're looking at a couple of different projects. Some of them are sizable. A couple of them aren't that big a deal. Do we have a go-to with Johnny Potts that we go to all the time with regards to portable outhouses? Do we rent from the same people all the time?
King's Row.
King's Throne?
John Camp. Huh? John Camp. All right, any further discussion on cemetery, park, and library? Moving on to the financial economic development credit card. I believe Taylor was handling that. Was she turned anything? Nothing?
Thought she said she'd have it by this meeting, but she didn't know she wasn't coming until she told me.
Move that to December.
So the other thing, I went to a Story County Economic Development Group meeting last week, and Greg Picklap is gonna help with a feasibility study on the Legion building, the Legion / Opera House building. And he will be here next meeting to report on it.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
What the commercial retail spaces can be used for, or what, who would actually, for whoever buys the building? What could they rent it out for? What would make it more, I don't know, more appealing, yeah, to an investor.
Okay,
But we're already talking to realtors about the buildings.
can we invite those realtors to the building so that they get a little?
We have, I've
Okay.
taken four people, 4 realtors too, through the building.
Cool.
You good? You good, Barb?
Do they have a date when they're gonna finish then?
No,
It should be, I hope it's close, the first of the year. They're waiting on gas meters right now. Electric's in.
Right, 'cause I may not have been here all year on that, that's been, the last year was like May, and then it went into July. And I never heard anything, so it's good.
That's our world. So we're gonna get your communications. Nothing? Got anything down there, Barb, for communications?
No.
Good. Anybody else have anything for communications? All right, moving on to old business. Cambridge Opera House. Like I said, project update. Roof is done, sprayed, new and old roof done. Power is there and on. We're still waiting for the gas meters to show up from Alliant. We'll have a meeting tomorrow to hear what's going on with that. The rest of it's pretty nice. We're gonna get appliances. Get that on here, let you talk about the appliances. Let's do it now.
I passed around a quote from Lowe's for the appliances. I put in parentheses, what they are, if it wasn't obvious from the item description. The guy I've been working with said Lowe's can install all of the appliances except the range hoods and the dishwashers. If we had Lowe's install those items, it'd be $169 per unit. But it sounds like Bobby's talked to the workers that are on site and they can get those installed for us. Once we approve this quote, hopefully we approve it, they'd be able to get the appliances within about 2 weeks. So we're talking like 1st of December, middle part of December. The quote total is less than what the council approved last December. Not quite $1,000 less, so that's good. They did give us a quantity discount because we're ordering so many items, so hopefully it's good. Bobby's been talking with the workers, so I think everything is all set.
So what's our appliance total? Go ahead and give us that.
So the total right now is $17,610.30. Our discount is saving us roughly 2,500.
We need a motion. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor for the appliances for the Opera House, $17,610.30, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it.
So is that with the dishwashers and that to fit the
Yep, ADA,
ADA
absolutely.
countertops and
Yep, range hoods, got remote. Project. Is
So is
there-
there
We
anything?
didn't have a pay request for King Construction.
No, we didn't have one, which we should, council maybe should start looking at. Maybe holding off on some pay requests until this gets, they're saying it's 95% done,
Right.
and it's not.
And it's not.
Where do we do that? Do we spearhead that with our legal team?
I don't know if we'll have to or not.
I believe in the contract, it says your payments are due as they say the percentage of the project is done. They're saying they're 95% done and they're not.
Okay,
The contractor is saying it's 95% done now. It's FEH's, our engineer, to look over that and make sure that's correct. And he pointed out a couple weeks ago that that's not correct.
So in the contract, who determines percentage done?
The engineer is supposed to look over what the contractor is sending them to see, to
Okay,
match that up.
so he's like,
So-
he's the general contractor basically.
I suppose.
so in the contract, if we're supposed to pay per percentage done, then that's decided by the engineer, not the contractor.
Yeah, the engineer is supposed to look over that and make sure that that's correct.
Okay, so in that
And it's
case, we
not
would,
correct.
so in that case, we probably wouldn't need legal if that's laid out in the contract, right?
Yeah,
those two,
we tried.
those two play nice together.
Come to a meeting. Come to a meeting, check
I've
it
been to
out.
a couple of them.
So now when the city does another project like this, you guys have put deadlines on dates for.
You will
Another
be,
project.
you will be front and center on it. We will run it all by you.
Get rid of your reference, yeah.
No, I'm just saying,
Yeah, we'll do a little more research on the next
Yeah.
one.
Learning
So the
project.
open, the meeting update, the building updates tomorrow, everybody's welcome to come,
Yeah,
right?
yep. the meeting,
9 o'clock. Building looks great.
Yeah, it's been very nice.
Just not 95%.
It's
No.
not, 95%, we should be doing with a
Can't
punch
believe it.
list. We're not doing it. with a punch list. Right, so took care of the project update, pay request, process for sale. You wanna speak on that some, Barb?
Sure,
Give us
we
an
reached
update.
out to commercial realtors, so I've had 4 go through it. And one's coming tomorrow to go through it. They all have different price ranges, like one said 1.6 million, and one was as low as 900,000. But they need to know what the taxes would be, and what they think people would pay for rent, so. I think
And
that's
this
where that,
Pitlick dude can, what's his name?
Greg?
Greg
Pitlap?
Pickleck.
Picklap,
that's what
he can-
that feasibility.
he can help us
is.
identify at least ballpark figures
how
for
many
those
square
sorts of
foot are
things.
they apartments?
Right. So,
900 or so, something like that.
Is that for each one of them?
Yeah. The retails are about 700 downstairs.
if you come to the meeting, you can look at it tomorrow.
Tuesday,
at 9
snow
a.m.
might be a late start.
So, yeah, as soon as we have all the realtors, I think we'll just sit down and pick one and then list it with them.
Do they drop like a contract and what they offer? So would it be wise to have them maybe to come if we do like a special meeting or something to share with the
Yeah.
council, so you guys can all hear
Yeah. I
what
think-
they propose to offer for.
Yeah, I think we could narrow it down to about 2 or 3. Because I can tell which ones would help us.
Sure.
We'll have them come and present. That'd be cool. They all have different ideas.
When was that meeting that Greg was gonna have the feasibility thing? When was he doing
He
that?
said the December meeting, but I'm gonna have to tell him we need it before then.
But he'd be reporting at the December.
December. All right, we have Pro Seal additional. So these are the people that have resprayed the roof. And they sprayed the spray foam, or excuse me, not spray foam, the blown-in insulation on top. We've already approved the original. It was 26,000 some change. We approved that already. 26,220.96, which we already approved. It went over $7,215. Make a motion to approve that. The additional was additional spray in or blow in insulation on the top. More glue into the back than what they had. They had
originally planned, and there was a big space that in order to meet code,
had to be completely
it
filled.
had to be completely filled, or we were gonna have to install sprinkler system up above the ceiling.
And then there was some additional repair work that we're gonna talk to King tomorrow, and that's at $2,149. They redid some of the roof drip edges there, where after the gutters were put on, King came back and resealed over it, which did not do a very good job. So Doug from Pro Seal ended up stripping it all back off and resprayed over all of it. There was multiple cuts up on the roof from the tinners. So he redid a lot of it. It was that drip edge.
So the bottom line is here, the
Yeah,
pay
that's
extension of $7 grand and change.
$7,215. So the total of this is $33,435.96.
But what we're dealing with now is the 7,200, whatever.
Yep, the due what's left is, because we've already paid $13,110.48.
So we're paying to fix the mistakes that we did? Is that what we're doing?
This is what we gotta talk to tomorrow about.
So we might not need the full 7,000. That's what you're saying, if King Construction is liable for
Mhm.
a couple of the thousand.
And that 2,000 is part of the 7?
Yes,
Can we,
I mean,
Not-
if they did eat it, they probably.
can we not approve this
Yeah,
until
we
we
hold
figure
off
out
then.
what King is doing?
What's that?
Are we holding off then until tomorrow, or is there action needed from us tonight?
Pro Seal wants paid.
They came and did the work.
Okay, so the action would be up to just the back end.
The action would be that
The
Just
extra
go against-
$7,215 is what, we've already approved the 26,000. We've already
Okay,
to go back on King Construction to,
asked for the.
Mr. Mayor, what
2,000.
is your advice?
You guys run the show. You want to approve it, let's prove it. If not, don't.
So if we approve the whole thing, we can go to King and get that 2,000, and I realize.
I'll present that to him tomorrow, to Lance.
okay.
Move to approve the extension of 7,000 and change for,
Second,
All in favor for the additional $7,215 to Pro Seal? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. So I'll give you an update on,
can I amend that? And actually say, as part of the motion, get the $2,129 from King. I'd like to amend my motion. Hey, rules of Roberts, how we do this?
thanks, Mike.
You didn't read your job
So-
description.
My understanding is maybe that we could pay all but the 2,000 and explain to.
Well, I
Pro
don't
Seal that-
I don't really care. I just want to make sure that we're not
well,
getting in the habit of eating little tidbits of money, because I think part of that is why we we got a little bit into this problem to begin with.
It seems like it's not, I mean, we have to pay Pro Seal either way.
Yeah.
That's separate, that's can't.
Either way.
So either way, we
we're
have to
responsible
pay.
Pay Pro Seal.
Pro Seal.
You're gonna have to ask Kane Construction
Yeah.
for $2,000 refund on part of the.
Yeah,
I think you're okay.
Mhm.
I think you're okay. Yeah, because we need to pay Pro Seal no matter what.
Okay.
yeah.
I'll shove them on there.
You're okay.
Very good.
All right, moving on. City code update. State building code. That you, Tim? You wanna go with it?
Those, you guys have handouts that Tim brought up today. You're invited and the
Building permit application.
Building
and
permit and
little
application.
invitation For,
packet.
please join us at the December planning and zoning meeting. 7/6.
Yeah, we've got Kimberly Development coming right here, December 6th. And it's just a Q&A to find out what the process is and what do we need to do to move them. So
What projects do they have?
they did a lot in Elkhart and Aiken,
Okay.
both commercial and residential.
Right
So
on.
they've done all those little incubators down there down in Bright Elkhart where you can do like plumbers, electricians
Yeah.
and stuff like that, little commercial rental places. So it'd be very interesting to just find out, well, how did that get started? You know, who funds it? You know, those kind of questions so that we can figure out how do we integrate those answers into our comprehensive plan. So, and then the next thing would be the building permits. I've got a proposal that I promised to bring last month that we've got in your packets. It's kind of lengthy, but it's kind of a culmination of about half a dozen other communities around. And I think it's better to go the comprehensive route versus just attach a route. So for every project, it won't be that lengthy, obviously, but at least this way we'll get all of our bases covered. Barb and I both reached out to Safe Buildings multiple times last week with no luck. So today I reached out to, Vanessa and Kim in West Des Moines, had a great conversation with their project manager, Jason, who's the owner of the company. And he's going to come up this week and have a detailed discussion and look around town and find out exactly. He's not interested in sheds and fences, but I figure between Dale and I, we might be able to handle that portion of it. But when it comes to the new construction and the electrical and the plumbing and insulation and framing, that's when we really need to get the pros involved. I mean, we can measure the setbacks. What we did in our last planning and zoning committee was we want to see, as a city council and a committee, we want to see the plat view and the elevation view of all new construction. And we don't need inspectors for that. You know, we want to make sure that they have the proper setback and it actually looks like a house. You know, and that's well within our jurisdiction to be able to do those things. And what we're proposing, and we officially motion and everything, is at least 2 city council members will approve all new construction. And if you're not available, at least 1 city council member and 1 planning and zoning member will sign off on all new building permits. So like we have a new house going up here, great, which is wonderful. But we want to be able to see it and talk about it and make sure that it fits in our community and what we're looking for. So that we don't end up with houses in road easements and, you know, structures that are not fitting, you know, in our planning and zoning bylaws and so on and so forth. So hopefully, I was hoping to bring a fee schedule, but again, Safe Buildings wouldn't reply. And if for some reason, I don't know, maybe.
Do you mind me asking who your point of contact is with Safe Buildings Compliance Technologies?
What was his name? Ron?
Okay.
And.
If I got you a different number, would you be willing to call that
Sure,
person?
that'd be great, because, I mean, we're not obviously able to do the inspections, but we need to do them, obviously, so. Because I built 3 years ago and I was stunned that there was no inspections and so on and so forth, so. We built the
Do
code.
you know
don't worry.
do you know the history behind the safe building and us? They came to us. Were you on? No, you weren't either. Probably, gee, it would be Christmas 22 years ago.
Oh, yeah,
I remember when Denny came and made a pitch for doing our building inspections, and we shut him down. I don't know if that's blackballed our community. I don't think that's the way they do business, but I have an in with that company. So I will get a different set of contact information for you. Ron's a pretty good guy, but he's not your.
Well, I tried 3 times and I called on the big guns and she didn't even get a reply either, so. I was kind of stunned. I thought, how do you run a business if you won't call people back?
They actually, the person who runs everything and actually the business manager manages it out of Arkansas.
Oh, my.
She did a good enough job of it that when she left them, it didn't go so well. And I asked her, will you come back and do this? So she runs it out of Arkansas. The owners are in Omaha. Ron just kind of tries to hold things together here, right, in Des Moines. So I will go ahead and get that contact information and get it to you by the end of the week. Is that okay?
That'd be great, because I've got a meeting with Jason out of Kim and Vanessa and Kim out of West Des Moines, and they're more than willing to help us. The only thing that they don't want to do is like fences, decks and sheds.
Okay.
But I think, between us, we can go out and make sure that, that's set back enough and things like that. So, and I try to add some verbiage, or if you look at the first page, that'll probably need to be cleared by our lawyer to make sure that, yeah, we're gonna come out and look at it, but you're ultimately responsible. If you build 5 feet over the property line, it's gonna be torn down. Too bad, so it's just kind of like buyer beware and so on and so forth. So I think we've proposed a pretty comprehensive building permit process and so on and so forth. Then last but not least, I went to Story County Economic Development Forum a couple of weeks ago up in Ames. And the big success story was Ogden. And what they did back 2008, 2009 frame, they had noticed that they lost a couple hundred students in their school system, which was a significant portion to them. And they were kind of like, uh-oh, what's going on? And so one of the things they did was they formed an economic development kind of a nonprofit organization. And they had tried to work on getting things built up. And then unfortunately, their local grocery store burnt down. So they went to Fairway and they had $400,000 in incentives and everything, and Fairway just laughed at them. I don't think so. And surprisingly enough, that wasn't the issue. The issue was schools and housing. They said, get your schools in order and get your housing beefed up, because they said, otherwise we're not going to come to town. And it's funny because like the world headquarters is 10 miles away. So you think, what the heck? And they have 2,007 people. So they're vastly bigger than us, but yet they were really focused on schools and housing. Now, obviously our schools are in great shape. They're bursting at the seams and things are going well. But one of our concerns is the housing. So one of the things that they did was they developed an inventory database. So they went around and they looked at all the houses that were not occupied and all the lots that didn't have a house on. So as a planning and zoning committee, that's one of the things we're in the midst of doing. So we're gonna come back, next month with that inventory database and try to propose, what are we gonna do with these houses with boards on the windows? Because that's just not acceptable.
So you're gonna have a number for us with like empty lots and
Yes.
houses around here like that?
Yes. So, and fortunately, we've got 3 of them torn down last year, and I did one, and there's a few more of them on our radar for next year as well, because it's like the story of the broken window in the factory. Got to keep the windows fixed, because otherwise, things will really go down south. So it was all about, they did it, and then what they did when they had the Fairway come in, they brought in the high school band and several hundred people to their grand opening, and the CEO of Fairway was blown away. He said, I've opened up hundreds of stores. I've never had this kind of welcoming. And I'm not saying that we could necessarily get a Fairway to come, but talking to that building inspector today, he's got an in with Dollar General. And he said, we're ripe for that type of a thing. So I've asked him to coach us as a planning and zoning committee to find out, okay, fine, what's it gonna take to get that kind of place here for us? Because we have to have some kind of economic development. You know, we can't have buildings uptown with boards on the windows. I mean, just, you can't do that, you know? I mean, either open them up or sell them, or we've got to act, in my opinion. So that'll be some of our recommendations very, very, very soon. So, did I cover everything?
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Do you want this meeting shared on Facebook?
Sure, you bet. Yeah, it's absolutely public, because that's one of our mandates is we're supposed to be communicating what's going on. And if no promises, you know, we're not trying to build 100 houses. We don't have any land or anything like that. It's just that we're trying to open the door to find out, how did Elkhart do it? Because they went from 600 to 870 people basically overnight. And I'm not saying that's what we want to do, because remember, our mission is to plan for growth in an orderly manner. And we just want to make sure that if something came up, we just want to be ready. We want to have the ordinances in place. We want to have the lot sizes and everything, so that when, for some good fortunate reason, somebody says, hey, so-and-so wants to sell, you know, 40 acres, you know, in city limits, you know, are you guys ready? And those kinds of things. And get economic development as well, because we've just lost one of our businesses in town, the weld shop, and weld shop at the end of Water Street. So it's like, you know.
Which one's that?
Snell? Snell.
Get backed up from.
It's closed.
So that'd be a great opportunity for the bike trail. So that'd be one thing, you know, possible, you know, make, you know, those kinds of things. But those are the big ones that we had. So any questions, more comments?
Sounds good, Tim.
All right, so hopefully we'll see you all in December.
Absolutely.
I heard something about treats.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, so,
Seven.
awesome.
Is there any further discussion on
Hey, don't knock the chickens.
City
That's gonna be
code
on
update?
top of that.
moving on to the American Rescue Act plan? City application? You got that? You got
I
anything?
don't have anything.
Okay.
So just
Well-
just Steve's gonna talk about the drink tap project.
Baffle curtain, we pretty much already covered. You have any more on the baffle curtain? We pretty much covered that thing. You want to move on to the drain tile project?
Sure.
Steve, you,
Yeah, I brought some aerials here. I don't know how familiar you guys are with what we talked about.
You're gonna need to get a little closer.
All right.
So, met with Barb and Dale and talked about some of the drainage problems up on North State Street. And there's came up with about 3 possible alternatives for how we might get some of the water out of this area off and into a creek where we want it to go. There's an existing storm sewer down here. I think there's a private drain tile that kind of goes somewhere out this direction. Barb's husband knows where it's at. And then there's another pipe that comes down, I think, North Street and dumps into this little creek. So what we're proposing to do here is kind of get some elevations, some topo, figure out where utilities are at, and come back to the city and say, well, here are your 3 options and roughly what it's going to cost with each of those 3 options, and let you guys decide how you want to deal with it. So that's that kind of covers
how
that part.
soon? How soon you think you?
We're hoping to have something for your next meeting.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, we've already got some of the topo done, just hoping you guys would approve the contract tonight, and should be able to pick up the rest of it in the next week or 2, and then kind of get through some of the crucial through the numbers and look at the options. So that's one of the 2 areas, and then the other one is Main Street between First Street and Third Street. There's some ponding issues, and there's an old drain tile that kind of comes along the west side of the road here that we look at replacing and just putting in some bigger, better intakes along that road to pick up some of the wet spots there. And our thinking here is this is should be fairly simple, so we should be able to get a pretty good level of what the cost would be and if we can get issues with that as well. Have that ready for next time. We're working within a budget, depending on how the costs come out, maybe opportunity for the city to maybe pitch in a little bit if we think we need to fund it, or if you want to cut back the scope, we're doing that too, so.
This is part of the ARPA grant that we received, 250,000. So,
And we still have 60,000
yeah,
of ARPA funds that we need to
From a
apply
previous
to a
project?
Yes, so they're kind of waiting to see on the baffle curtain with
Okay.
what insurance is it paying, if it could be repaired or if it has to be replaced, how much that was gonna cost. Then if there's money left over to look at the drain tile projects.
But that 60 is
on
in
top
addition,
of-
is in addition to the 250 he's talking about. But then the same grant program, just renewed at different
this
times.
is
or-
a separate grant.
It's a separate grant, but they're all
Okay.
ARPA, they're
I'm
both
assuming
ARPA.
that the
ARPA
60 is probably what the city got directly, and the 250 is what you're getting from the county. Because
Right.
the county got a whole pile of money that they're
Right.
kind of dispersing around, so. Sometimes. There's kind of-
You're gonna come back with us next month with it.
Yeah, so the goal would be next month we come back and kind of go over more of the details and budgets and possible solutions and let you guys decide what you want to do with the direction of the projects. And then after that, we would then kind of put together a proposal to do full design and have plans and specs that the contractors could bid on and then bid the project that would get built next year.
So do we need to approve the contract and use Fox Engineering tonight then, or how to do that?
Don't you have funding to contract the topo work and stuff?
So, city has the funding, we need the city to approve our contract to do what the way we have it broken up is this first phase is kind of getting the topo done and figuring out how much the cost would be and figuring out what scope you want. And then at the next meeting, we'd have another contract to do the more detailed design plan specs.
That's something the attorney's gonna look at it, or attorney, should our attorney look at that, just. look at it.
It's up to you guys. It's a pretty standard little short form
I don't
agreement.
think we need to turn
I did bring a copy
Just
with
the
me because I
contract that
put them
have
on the printer.
proceed with that project.
Proceed, yeah, but I don't. think
Do you have it
we
with
need a
you?
motion for-
I didn't bring a copy
I don't
with me.
think so.
I think I sent a copy to Barb and Dale.
Do you know how much it is?
Was it 18?
It's an hourly fee, and
Okay.
it was like with an estimate of around 17.5 or 18, I think. is what it was.
Okay. So I'll send that to everybody. Well, Dale and I got it. but I didn't know. I'll forward that to you guys.
We're 5 minutes past Dale's bedtime.
So do you need us to do something with that tonight?
You
Well,
just need the approval of the council.
we need to sign contract really to start working. on it.
Okay,
So I don't know if you can do that at this point, or how you want to handle that.
A little hinky making a motion to approve something that I don't see.
It's a motion for you just to move forward.
You need the money.
yeah.
Yeah, well, we need to sign contracts, so yeah, something I can.
Can you
my
pull that
account
up,
person so
Barb?
they'll let
Yeah,
me
I
start spending.
If you've got a dollar figure so that we know what we're moving, we can approve the movement forward, and then you can sign the doggone thing
Right.
when you have something to sign. Isn't that the way that works? It's clerk,
I think so.
I'm learning with you.
almost sounded like.
You've been doing this a lot longer than I have. What's the procedure?
You saw.
I have the agreement, so.
You have a number?
Safe to say that this one caught us a little by surprise.
Yeah. Let's see that. Is it in there or is it,
Deliberately.
Yep. Some front door.
Okay.
Chickens.
I missed it.
It's on there.
Where?
Yep,
Skip
18,000.
There's a very top.
Okay.
Whatever we don't.
They're on my top.
get done this
Estimated
week.
18,000.
Say that again?
Estimated 18,000.
I can email it. Oh, you-
And if, no, I mean, so moving forward, what we need to do is approve a motion to approve the $18,000 for the Alco grant and the preliminary work that gets done. And then he needs to sign it, but we don't have anything for him to sign tonight, do we?
I can turn it out.
What would you like to do, Mr. Mayor?
Pass it.
I make a motion to approve the agreement with Fox Strand Engineering for 18,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. So you're gonna print that agreement out, get it printed out and sign it. Get it in tonight.
Yep. I can do that.
Was that your goal tonight to leave here with that? in
That would be
hand?
great.
Okay.
That would save you waiting around until
Yeah,
things make it through the
sounds
mail.
good.
Thanks.
Thank
Well,
you.
Thanks for walking us through that.
Is there any further discussion on the storm sewer project? City staff, and city boards and commissions, inspections of buildings and permits, we pretty much covered that. Anybody else has any more discussion on that?
I'm gonna work with Barb some more on recruitment. I mean, I never set out to fully staff the cemetery park board. I wanted to get a set of procedures and protocols in place. So we actually, as far as I know, we've never done this for 25, 30 years.
Long
So
time.
this is
Yeah.
kind of a new thing. Probably should keep that recruitment piece out there and get some more people to respond. It'd be nice if we had enough respondents to actually vet a few to, you know. But I can certainly move forward with what I've got. Yes, ma'am.
So on I've started a utility application for any new residents that move to town. And at the bottom of it, I have added a spot that we're always looking for residents to join any of our boards and committees. And would you be
I'll
interested
chop and pick and stand.
in a place for them to check that?
Oh, yeah. And I think moving forward too, we might as well put out the same sort of blast for library board members, because after talking with the ladies tonight, they do such a great job. I don't want them to quit, but they, so can you do that, please? Put out the recruitment piece for library board members as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Moving on, the comprehensive plan, capital improvement plan. I think, Tim, were you gonna do a little bit of that?
Oh, you betcha.
Yeah.
We're well on it. We have an outline and everything.
Okay,
We're working on it.
okay,
I can report out next month on it and exactly where we're at.
okay. And you're good with the inspections and the building permits? I mean, we covered about
Yes,
all
we're just
that.
trying to find a vendor to actually do the inspections themselves.
And that cost will be passed on to,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that the city should still get something for the permit itself, but then pass through the cost of the inspection.
Sure.
itself.
sure. Moving on, the employee handbook.
I went through the employee handbook book and tried to update it, so it's more Cambridge.
Okay.
We need to add an insurance. I don't know what the insurance is for the city.
So we're up for renewal and I will contact Jolene this week to sit down with Bobby. There are 3 options
Okay.
where our fees and stuff are at.
Okay.
And we'll have to do that. It renews in January, so we need to do that before December or beginning of December to choose which plans we want to do with that. And I'm also gonna reach out to the gal that Bobby forwarded me her information to, that was gonna help with the employee handbook.
Connie?
Connie,
I've already gone through it.
you went through it with
Page
Connie
by
too?
page. I just went through and edited it,
Oh.
the whole thing.
Yay.
I don't have to leave the
So I don't
insurance.
have to call Connie?
No, I've done it.
She's already read it too.
Yeah. Dale, did you read through the employee handbook?
Yeah, I haven't got clear. through.
Right, but did you say you were making some notes too on some stuff you had questions or
Yeah,
about?
yeah, yeah.
So that would be something that probably you could share with Barb or myself,
Okay.
And then,
and then
do you want me to send you the edited copy?
I would love the edited copy,
Okay, I'll send
please.
that to you.
I can forward it to Dale, or you can send it to him
Okay,
too.
I'll send it to both of you.
Any further discussion on the employee handbook? Moving on to the nuisance abatement process, we still haven't heard anything back from the attorney, so that's all I know on that.
So how do we establish a relationship with them that is more, makes them more accessible? Are you, am I reading you wrong? Is it frustration on your part that they're not responding to us?
Oh, absolutely. Sure.
That you are frustrated?
Sure.
Okay. So, I mean, we
I
are.
call them, we call them and we hear, you know, kind of the same thing, you're getting close, but you still get charged $50 for that every time.
Every time you call them, then they charge you a fee that they answer a question.
And that's it. So we need a list of questions for a half hour. You got $50 worth. You're just gonna ask them something.
Okay.
But didn't they already present us kind of an idea of what process we'd go through? I remember talking about it.
Yeah, was it Matthew? Matt?
Yeah, he was here
He came down
because,
August 2nd.
yeah,
Went through the whole deal. And then we're waiting for Kelly to come back.
well, I said she's back.
She is back.
She just got back the second week of October, I think, so she hasn't, sure her paperwork stack was. I know.
Excuses. You're taking our city's money. It's as green as everybody else's. Well, I mean, I don't know what to do.
We'll
Are
call him
we
tomorrow.
gonna have a patient, persistent approach to this, or are we gonna leverage it? Or are we gonna wait till December?
Unless you want to reach out and find somebody else.
That's-
I don't know that there's a lot of attorneys out there that are storming down the doors to represent small communities.
No,
There's not a lot of money in it. It's some kind of special.
you know,
I suppose when you go out there and you look for that, this is what you get.
Right.
Or is it? Could you say that to him? You could ask him, one of those 30 questions that you spend a half hour, is it time for us to get a different attorney? Because you don't seem to be very responsive to our needs.
Right. Oh, here you go. Call her now. Tomorrow morning, I gotta pick her. So I'll call her.
Don't call her if you don't have 30 questions.
It's $50.
that's
It's $50.
maybe ask her what the best approach is. We have several issues that we
Mm.
can answer. And how do we get the best money for our?
You'll be up here tomorrow, won't you?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll be here.
we'll do it. We will speaker conversation.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
What time?
Probably
Oh,
after.
okay,
10 o'clock.
All right. All right, is there any further discussion with nuisance abatement process? We're moving on to new business.
Woo, finally.
Ballard.
You guys had a chance to do this
Man.
an hour and 15 minutes ago. and you
Oh,
said,
that's all right.
Oh, my gosh.
I want to hear how much money you're spending before I ask them. It's $50 a question. All right, well, my name is Matt Baltus. I'm the director of Ballard Lakes. Matt Butts is the Ballard softball president. Just real quick for you guys who don't know much about Little League. Roughly about 5-6 years ago, each community was running independently a Little League program. Cambridge had their own program, Huxley had their own, Slater had their own. And like I said, about 5-6 years ago, we decided to merge all into one called Ballard Little League. So I was the lucky one to draw the wrong straw around that deal. And I've been stuck ever since, and so has Matt.
But we have a really, really successful program, Ballard. We have roughly 400 kids. We have over 100 volunteers, over 40 teams, and we play in every community. So we have 2 fields here in Cambridge over by the school we play on. There's 3 in Huxley and then there's 2 in Slater. The reason why we're here is this is kind of the time of year where we're talking to the communities. We haven't really spent much time talking to Cambridge over the probably pre-COVID, just because we tried to survive after COVID and then kind of get things rolling again. But there's been a lot of changes. We have a little bit of competition with another program. We're doing the best we can to keep fees as low as we can to kids and parents. We're trying to get some money from businesses, but each of the communities also provides a little bit for us in some way, not necessarily financially, but in other ways. So, for instance, Slater helps with, material and bringing material over the fields and kind of helping us get the fields ready over there.
When you talk about material, you're talking about the grounds material.
Yeah, and sometimes we split in that, or we pay for the hauling of it, or we pay for half, but
Right on.
they help with some of that. In Huxley, it very much the same. They help with kind of keeping up our concession stand, any kind of repairs to our dugouts, and then field material as well. So the reason why we're here tonight is we have needs, and we have needs here in Cambridge at the Cambridge Fields. Now, those are technically school property. I'm currently in the process of working with the superintendent, the current superintendent, to try to get some kind of an arrangement that Little League is a little bit more permanently in charge of those fields. The schools really don't use them for anything to speak of. They might use them for recess or something once in a while, but we're really the ones that have been maintaining them. So any type of money that's been put into those fields, we've done that. And unfortunately, during COVID, we kind of let them go a little bit just because. So just recently, we put more money into it. So last year, we put some money into it. We had some volunteers help us just 2 weeks ago, working on the fields.
Was that 2 clowns up there with a skid loader in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
Dedicated. Wow.
Yeah. On nights that we don't really have time, but we gotta get it done before. But right now, what's happening is the baseball dugouts are falling apart. They really need to be redone. We want to get those fields back in really good condition like they used to be. We used to have all-star events, Little League all-star events out here. We had the scoreboards running, we had decent crowds, we had the Cambridge concession stands open all the time. I mean, it was really happening out here. Because our numbers are staying steady and actually going up, we're gonna utilize these fields more. But we need some assistance to get them up to where they need to be. Now, we're gonna do our part with our own business fundraising and all that fun stuff, just to see what we can drum up. But for tonight, it's more of an open-ended conversation with you. I'm not asking for a certain amount. I'm more asking, like, if you're willing or able to help out a nonprofit in the area that has a lot of Cambridge kids play. We'd be open to whatever, whether it's just manpower, helping with building dugouts or building the dugouts themselves, or helping with any kind of material that we need to get those fields going. Yeah, so we're kind of open to anything. But other than that, like I said, this is just kind of the time of year where we're meeting with every community and just letting them know where we're at with our program and that it's thriving and doing really well.
How much would it cost to update the dugouts?
I have no idea. No idea.
Are any of you guys thinking what I'm thinking? Where you guys been?
What's that?
Every year when we do a budget workshop, we go down line item, bada bing, bada boom, fireman, road, Cambridge Little League. Nope. So you guys have been budgeted in our city budget for.
Not anymore, though.
Yeah, well,
There's
there's
when I
no
look at
line
the
item
budget,
anymore for them.
there's a line, but there's nothing there. There's
No.
no money, there's.
So I think what we need to probably do is work with you to find out
what sorts of costs are we looking at with regards to repair? Prioritize some of that stuff in the event that it does become a little pricey. Get the things that you need immediately to get that place playable and attractive, and then go from there. I represent cemeteries, parks here in the district, but I'm also, Dale and we helped build those fields. I mean, the boys field was literally a swamp, which has probably led to some of the settling and disrepair to the dugouts now, with frost heaving and dirt settling, because we built those fast. They got built very, very quickly. I talked with the mayor this afternoon, and he is in lockstep. I said, we don't want to see those fields go away. They're part of the fabric. In fact, I think they're named after one of our patrons, Butch Moody. So
The second part of that is, maybe since you're part of the school district, we need some. We need some help making sure that that's a priority for Ballard Little League. And it's not used for outside organizations or club teams, but it's a Little League function.
Little League first,
Yeah,
and then it fills in.
right.
And that's one of the problems, is that there's never been any schedule, because it was maintained by the city, but owned by the school. And the school felt as though they had the say as to who gets to use it, who doesn't get to use it. And I can certainly understand in your talks with Audie, what is he talking about, selling that space to the city?
So I offered that already. I got really nowhere with it because the main response was Ballard is growing so fast, we're not sure what we're gonna do with any of our property. Ballard schools.
Yeah.
Ballard schools are growing so fast. But I did throw that by them. I'm like, you guys don't even use that area. Why don't we just sell to the city for $1 or something, and we maintain it and take care of it.
There's a thing called a quit claim deed.
Correct.
Are you okay if I say something, Audie?
Absolutely.
I was thinking about retiring anyway.
So the Slater Field, is that owned by Ballard also?
Slater.
So that's what I'm wondering, is how do you use Cambridge money on ground that we don't know?
Wait a minute, Bobby.
I think originally there was an 80-20 agreement that has long since passed, and it just, out of respect to the relationship that the schools and the community had with one another, it just was something that was maintained over time. We probably either need to take a look at renewing that 80-20, or actually look at leveraging the school district to get rid of that property, deed it over to the city. They don't maintain it. They don't have a vested interest in it. The city does. The city has put all their resources into developing it. Really, our school district is an awesome school district, but when it comes to those two fields, they don't really have much skin in the game, if any at all.
Just mowing, that's all they do, just mowing.
And I don't really know that they do that much, because when it needs to be mowed with detail, aren't you guys the ones who go up there?
Once it went to the Ballard, we were good.
They contracted out the mowing, Ballard does.
Bobby, when you asked about the Slater Field, are you talking about Ballard West? Or are you talking about fields by the pool?
Ballard West. Do you guys use one there?
At all. They tore it out.
Oh, they did?
It's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. The
What's the thing with-
grass is there and the fence is there. Dugouts are gone. There's no playing field. But it's a lot closer to the school in proximity, right? You know what I mean? So they use it for recess. And we're, out here, it's so far away. It's across the parking lot,
What about the other field that they use in Slater? The town-
Those are city fields.
Those
Like
are
down by
city-
the pool and stuff.
No, there's another one in
Yeah.
Slater,
The south end.
at South End.
Yep.
That's a city field.
That's a city field too?
And they're stripping 6 inches of dirt out right now, putting in all new material.
Maybe I'll look into acquiring that land. So we can put our money into.
Okay, so steps to take. Visit with leadership. Can you guys start working on like a ballpark redneck figure on what it would take to, or a list, a wish list at least?
The things that need to be done out there, absolutely.
You guys know where my office is?
Yep.
Just listen to the rock music when you're coming east. You'll find me. You need to update that. It's what everybody listens to, whether they want to or not. I'm glad you guys came.
Yeah.
I really am.
Thank you.
Yeah, small towns need to keep ball diamonds.
Yeah.
And that's.
You're Baylor's dad?
Yeah.
And there's like 21 balls. Sorry.
Right now you got Emory.
Yep. Good stuff.
All right.
Don't you
thank
think?
guys.
No, thank
I mean, do you
guys.
feel some nostalgic connection to that field?
That was a sad day when Cambridge lost their baseball team. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
The merger's forced on us. It wasn't a volunteer.
Well, and the flag, that flagpole has a story. Where we dug it out of the ditch in front of Todd Moody's house because the linemen left it in the snow because they didn't want to dig it out themselves. So I remember that was probably the hardest and most dangerous piece of work was pulling that clunky thing out of the ditch. And putting the septic down. And that girls' field is we tiled both fields. Because it used to flood like a mother lover. It'd be more like a water polo game than a softball game. But it drains real nice now. Yeah,
They're
let's do this.
probably our best fields, if they're maintained well. They are, they really are. That grass and field on the boys' side, like nobody has that anymore. It's really sweet.
And when we built that, I'm not a baseball player. I didn't know what just kind of trial and error. A lot of love went in there. So I'm glad you guys are picking it up. Absolutely. Do you just want me to list myself as point of contact with them?
Your list is getting longer.
Your addition to the list is a good addition. Let's keep going.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Can I go first?
You know how to do it? Hold up your finger and then
Okay.
search.
Oh,
Richard,
yeah, I know how to do it.
password.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
We got another one. One's good for.
Oh, yeah, we're good.
I have to
One
brush.
through 8 or 1 through 9.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, that's it?
Thanks, guys.
See you, Bob. Thanks.
Otherwise, you can email it to me.
Yeah. He changed it.
Tell Baylor hello for me, please.
Absolutely.
Oh.
I have a video of me getting paid.
Yeah, so I can get out.
Yeah, it'll be all right. We're getting close.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to Hudson Communications, business class package rates for internet.
So we received in the mail, believe it or not, the first of the year, speeds for businesses are doubling and cost is lowering.
Oh,
So we're gonna get double the speed for less per month. However, we would like to propose going up. We currently are on just the lowest choice, that is $65 a month. It was at 50 megabits, whatever you call it, for 65 a month. With their new rates, we would love to go to, well, they discontinued the 200. At least go up to the 100, which will double to 200 for $100, so another $35 a month to almost triple our speed. The library is having problems with speed and people being able to get an internet connection. We talked with Steve Kaborik, who put the router and stuff in there. He said the speed that we have is a big problem. But we didn't want to go ahead and up our speed now when it's gonna double in January, that we thought we could wait till January. Asked to move to the next level package, which is $35 more a month, but we will have 200 bytes rather than 50.
So what is the language? Break it down into the absolute fewest number of words possible.
The way I just need approval that to move up in the package plan for the internet.
Move to approve
Package.
an improved package plan for internet access to, what is that, Huxcom?
Yep.
Second.
Thanks.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is that like a package for so long, or is it just forever?
It's once you sign up for it, yeah, and this is just for business packages, it's not a resident package deal
Yeah.
that they're doing. They're just gonna double their speeds on all business class internet services and updating the prices, and the prices are lowering, which you don't see very often. So I thought it was a great opportunity for us to be able to do that.
Sounds great. I've seen people sitting on the steps outside the doors using our internet.
So I also talked with Steve, that's another thing, so people that are close by can access, because it's a guest. He set it up in the router, so they only can have like 2 hours and it kicks them off.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know you could do that, but
Most guests, you would come in and get a password from the library if you're gonna access it like that.
right, but anybody can get that password and then be outside on the weekend and sit outside and still use it, so.
And she's having software.
Like delay.
Put in. She's having software put in called Wi-Fi, which is actually gonna be able to identify those persons who are tapping into our Wi-Fi,
Track them.
It'll show,
Yeah,
yeah,
and it'll track that. Plus it tracks several other components of our computer usage and actually then downloads them and creates the databases that she needs for state reporting. So it's a pretty slick deal. But on the backside of this is the fact that it identifies
Like
the
it, I-
Wi-Fi usage
We still-
outside of the library. And if we get a lot of piracy, we can go ahead and write protect that. And
You want to vote on the motion?
say again,
Yep. All in favor for the price increase in speed for Hudson Communications, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. And when's this take effect?
January 1st. So I can go ahead and contact them and let them know that we would like that changed effective January 1st.
Yep. Oh, any further discussion on Hudson Communications? Moving on. Good. Yep, we're gonna pass that. We got Pro Seal, we've already discussed that. Pass that. Moving to city staffing, city deputy clerk. Want to discuss a little bit of that, or there's
So with stepping into this new position, we are finding there are lots of ways that things could be improved
more efficient.
and more efficient. And I'm finding in order to keep up with the current way that things are being handled, it's 2 steps forward and 4 steps back. There's not enough hours in the day and the week. I've been putting at least 10 hours a week overtime, trying to stay caught up. And it would be really helpful if we could get somebody else in, city deputy clerk. And on that same note, somebody, the day's gonna come for my retirement, it will be really wise to have somebody that's already here and learning these programs along the way, helping get them implemented and.
next man up
So that when it's,
or woman up.
yeah, somebody that can come in, help answer phones, somebody that can help do utility billing. That's gonna come really handy once we get all the tablets and the readers going that we spoke to. Matt, Mark,
Dan,
Dan. You don't know how many people I speak to a day.
Not even close. So do we have a
Dan
duty, do we have a duty description for deputy clerk?
Update everything.
And that would be something that could be implemented with the new employee handbook that's coming out at the same time that we're gonna be looking for an assistant public works director to
Do
be.
we want to put that out there now and do a job search and get Indeed.com fired up again and get some very hard dogs in here to?
I would think so.
Mhm.
Are we thinking part-time or full-time?
Part-time to start out with.
Depends on who we get. We get
Yeah, it all
somebody
depends
from
on who the person
administration.
is that comes in, how knowledgeable they are, what they can help with,
Okay.
and we've got budget time coming up. I'd really like to find somebody that has budget experience to help with the
Pay?
budgeting. Pay?
Yeah, what are we thinking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, we looked into that yet.
Haven't even got that. Maybe there's something that we could move into a work session and discuss.
Just the way we're doing things. I spoke with Amanda for about an hour last Wednesday from the Iowa League. And I was just telling her, we're writing in paper ledger, we're typing checks. And she was just like, no, you don't do that. She goes,
Okay.
We need to rebuild that.
So we probably need to have a work session here, the end of November, early week of
We're
November.
gonna have probably a special meeting
We're gonna need to have a special meeting because we
at
have
the end of November.
annual reports, debt report, street finance report, ARF report, urban renewal reports, all due December 1st. So that's what we are currently working on.
To the state.
Those will all have to be approved by you guys for us to file them by December 1st. So hopefully we can have those ready. If we could have a special meeting November 20th or 29th.
Smokers.
Mhm.
Whoops.
Do you have somebody that can help with those reports right now?
Deb's helping with those reports.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
working on those
Okay.
reports.
Okay.
She is hoping that
We can
within
get
this next week, we can hit, we've started on them, we can hit them,
Okay.
but we would need a special meeting because they're gonna need
What
approval.
are some proposed dates for, work session?
November 28th or 29th, so that's a Monday or a Tuesday.
Monday's okay. Either's okay.
Hang on, I gotta. My
Yeah,
stupid computer, I
either.
don't know why this keeps doing this, but it is really jammed. Twenty-eight or
I
twenty-nine?
can do the 28th.
And that's what Barb said she could
I'm
do.
not available.
Whitney can do the 28th.
I can go 28 or 29 as long as we go after 6:30.
Yeah, I can do 28th at 7, same time.
So 7 o'clock on the 28th of November.
Sounds good.
That's a special meeting, not a work
That
session.
is a
Special meeting, not a work session.
1900. How exciting.
And then we'll also need to set probably dates to start working on budget at that
Budget workshop.
same meeting that those need to get started.
There's gotta be a better way. I mean, if we're gonna rip the Band-Aid off, good Lord, let's just do it. There's gotta be a better way to do budget meetings, because I'll be perfectly honest. I think I've been doing this combined for 24 years. And we've been using the same budgetary setup since I started. And it doesn't make any more sense to me today than it did 24 years ago.
Yeah.
It's very.
It doesn't matter, you can't read it and understand.
Yeah, it's hard to look at. I go and I drool on myself a little bit and I just like, are you kidding me? I drool on myself.
So with the city deputy clerk, it'd be nice to have some of that handbook in place, especially now if you're gonna be looking for an assistant at public works also.
So this meeting on the 28th, the purpose is to hammer out the details with the deputy clerk position.
No, this
No.
for the
The
annual
budget, all the
reports.
end of the year reports.
All that, annual reports.
Do we want to add the city clerk position to that?
No, I think, I think there's a lot of work to do with those reports, I think.
Yeah.
So city clerk position gets pushed back to December?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good with city deputy clerk. Moving on to the assistant public works, any ideas, discussion? Anybody know anybody?
What are we doing?
Where's the
Oh, we
public?
need an assistant public works.
What line item is that?
Under the city staffing,
Oh,
the assistant public works.
Or we had city deputy clerk and then under
Clerk
that it
Willett.
says, oh, these,
Yeah.
this was added because Dave just told us today.
Oh,
Okay.
I was gonna say, I didn't see something.
Yeah,
Hot off the press.
sorry.
Well, let's move back to December then also.
Move that one to December.
yeah.
We've already talked about the annual report, special meeting, we got that hammered out. Moving on to, is there any further discussion on that? Moving on to the 2024 budget meeting schedule,
Do we want to look at
that's something in
dates?
January.
No, December, you need to get started.
Oh, we didn't even do it last year till about. was it
Yeah, I
end of
know.
February,
February, March.
You want to get started in December?
let's do March.
I think Huxley's
31st.
already
Oh,
started.
maybe,
there.
did we just do like
Oh,
in
it's
February?
Yeah.
I
You
think
wanna
we
wait
spent
till
like 3 weeks in a row in
January?
February, yeah.
You want to wait till January? I don't know. I haven't done a budget, so you guys tell me. Were you able to hammer it out, or did you have lots of problems getting it in on
We
time?
gotta hammer it out.
I think
That
you
was
were
just
late
like-
getting it in in time.
Everything and pass it.
I will,
I think it was like
I,
every week of February.
Yeah, it was hard.
2 hours each time.
Yeah.
I think you were late getting it in on time last year.
Mhm.
running joke. It's never on there. So would you want to do a work session or something on the 19th to kick off this budget process?
Sounds good.
I mean, look, if we start early and we get it done and we look at each other and say, oh, that wasn't as hard as we thought it was gonna be, it's done. But if we err on the side of getting started in January and we get to where it's due and we're still scrambling our hinds
I
off.
personally would rather start, I open up more breathing room in December and January, so I'd rather.
And I
I'd
say
rather
we'd
take
reach
that
out to
risk.
Maxine and see her availability.
Can we pay her as a temp to come in and help with that, the same way we do the lawn board?
If she agrees to it.
I don't think, I mean, you don't need a council action to do that.
No.
That's an executive decision on the part of yours, Mr. Mayor.
I think she'd be.
So are we gonna pencil in a 19th budget session?
Let's pencil it in.
What time?
You want to start at 6?
Yeah, I was
That's
gonna say, can you do a
here?
little earlier?
Okay.
I can't come and say, you guys get started at 6 o'clock.
It's the first day of Hanukkah.
When do you guys start Christmas break?
The operative word in that question is the word break, just not that I'm a stickler for words, but the 21st, I think. No, I lied again. The 22nd,
18th you can't?
the 18th, I can't.
And I don't think you want to do anything in between Christmas and New Year's.
Oh, yeah, you were saying 18th,
Did you say the 19th?
19th.
19th is Monday.
At 7 PM? Okay.
All right.
And that's a budget meeting. Budget.
Okay.
Nothing else, I think we can look at budget balances,
That's real
where
quick.
we're sitting.
And maybe look at the process so that we're not so cumbersome. Should be.
All right, we did have an item on one of the agendas posted and had chickens on it.
I got it right here.
Yeah, we skipped over it.
Do you want to
It was
kick
right
that to
under-
December? Because I think,
Here's,
I think,
here's the whole process the last time chickens
Okay.
came up that can be shared or.
I think
Okay.
Taylor
We need
would want to be,
Taylor to
yeah,
look
Taylor
through that.
would want to be a part of
Yes.
that. Because I know that was a big.
So we'll
thing
put
for her.
chickens and their purpose,
December.
December's. It needs to have a purpose put on there, not just chickens.
Kick the chicken down the road.
Huh.
So we move chickens to the
To the
December.
December, and she'll be back on the 21st and we can get her that.
Is she okay?
Yeah.
She's on
She
vacation.
went to a wedding.
She went to a wedding?
Carolina.
Oh, that's one.
Right now.
Table it to December.
Table the
Yes.
chicken.
Any further discussion with the 2024 budget? Moving on to resolution number 22-16, resolution waiving subdivision review.
Is that a
Yeah,
Mr. Miller
urban
thing?
renewal, TIF, indebtedness tax. Oh, no, I'm sorry, you are
Right
correct.
here.
Yes, so we received a resolution, or they're asking for us to waive a subdivision review of Larson and Oak Bend Road.
Is this one of those where we're just close enough to them?
Yes, we're just close enough to them, but it really doesn't affect us.
Oh, yeah.
So this is just the.
Could I save us a little time here?
Motion to wait?
Yes.
Move to approve resolution number 22-16.
Second.
All in favor for the approval of resolution number 22-16, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Next one.
Next one. is Urban renewal.
All right, moving on to resolution number 22-17, urban renewal area TIF. Indebtedness
Yep, so
increment tax reconciliation.
this is just passing for the urban renewal TIF indebtedment. There's a program that we went in, that will have to go in and fill out with all the figures correctly. And on the back of the form, it shows what the estimate was released for last year. So we get an estimator, we'll get another form from the county.
And that'll be used to
For
project
the
our
TIF.
fiscal year
Yep, for
24.
our TIF funds.
Move to approve resolution number 22-17.
Second.
Approval of resolution number 22-17, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Let's see now.
And then last one. The last one is the first reading.
Mhm. So next is the first reading of ordinance number 22-B, an ordinance amending the code of ordinances of the city of Cambridge, Iowa by amending provisions pertaining to water service charges.
This is the
I will
increase to-
say, I will. Yeah,
Okay. No,
I was gonna open up to the floor, but we've already done that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just reading, right?
So that you have to have 3 readings.
Mhm.
So with this being our first reading, recommended with it, since this will then go into the minutes out to the public that we've had the first vote for this, that it'll be increasing from a 5% late fee to a flat $20 fee. Then we'll have a second reading, but we can make a motion then to waive the third reading and put it into place, like at least give 2 readings.
So what do you need from us right now? Really nothing.
A motion, well, we need to approve the first reading.
Okay, move to approve the first reading of ordinance number 22-B.
Second.
All in favor for the approval of the first reading of ordinance number 22-B, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Moving on to mayor and council comments. Have one, you got one?
You got one?
I got one.
I got a couple of them.
Okay.
Want to go first?
I don't go
Want to
back
flip
and
that
forth.
back and forth? I'll take one, you take one.
All right,
All right, let's do this. I'll go first.
okay.
Girls wrestling is about to make a historic move. Ballard will host its first high school women's wrestling event Thursday, 17 November at 17:30. It is a wrestling scramble. There'll be 27 schools with female athletes participating on the mats at Ballard High School. If you're a Ballard wrestling fan, or you're into the girl power hour, or you just like watching some really, really awesome young athletes, I strongly suggest you don't have to stay for the whole day, come in time, but come check them out.
Is that at the high school?
Yep,
At what
yep.
time?
Starts at 5:30, probably will finish wrestling 9:30. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of young ladies there tearing it up. It's gonna be some good stuff. Your turn.
I have Faith Baptist Church, wants to do their Christmas program down at the old Ball Diamond again this year. We have some things moved around down there to accommodate them for that. I believe it's the 17th and 18th.
Isn't that a living nativity scene?
Yep,
Yes.
yep. And they'll be working on it the week before. They'll be working on it to set it up.
December 17th.
I think it's the 16th, 17th and 18th.
Well, we've had many hometown boys and girls who have served in the military going to harm's way. I think it's worth noting that Captain Dylan Hanson of the Ugly Angels and First Lieutenant Alex Mackey of the Magnificent Bastards are underway and can be considered in harm's way from this point forward. So any positive thoughts or prayers you can offer them, or if you want to even get connected and give them some service people support. You're not supporting just Alex or just Dylan. Dylan will share all of our love with his Air Wing, and Alex will probably share his love with Joker Company. They're kind of sneaky bastards.
What's Dylan's
Where they
last
headed?
name?
Say again.
What's Dylan's last name?
Hansen, Hansen. He is John Camp's stepson.
Okay,
Where they headed? Oh, wait, no.
gotcha.
They don't.
Classified.
It's not classified, but he said, Dad, you gotta stop telling everybody where we're going. So,
Fair enough.
if it was someplace exotic and fun, I would share that with you.
Okay.
It's not. Marine Corps language packages normally number maybe 1 to 3. Their language packets started out that way and were up to 7 when they went underway. So I need to brush up on a lot of lingo. Your turn.
Building project meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m.
I'm gonna go ahead, if it's okay with you, sir, go over a meeting with Mr. Matsy. Would you please come to that meeting with me?
Yep, let me know when.
All right.
And other than that, everybody have a good Thanksgiving. Safe.
Whoa,
Thanksgiving.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Beyond that, right?
Fair is this weekend.
Yep.
here, 9 to 2.
And they've actually got some really good programs while the fair's going on in here. Our hotshot library staff and library board has got some pretty cool stuff going on.
Same weekend or this weekend?
Yep, same time. Same time.
Saturday, 9 to 2.
9 to 2.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Amen.
All in favor for adjournment, say aye. All
No.
opposed? Ayes have it.